Hi everyone and welcome to my first Sims speed build video kind of thing. I haven't done one of these before, so this is going to be a bit bizarre for me. I'm just kind of watching back my speed build that I did yesterday. I've got the new pack, the Sims 4 tiny living stuff. I don't know, should be quite good. It kind of restricts you from building on certain types of lots and you have to build within certain confinements. So for this one that I did, I decided to go with the micro house, which is the smallest one you can do. You can only lay down 32 tiles. I made quite a lot of mistakes trying to do this build because I didn't really know where to start or what I should be doing. And I am not very good at building Sims houses, but I decided to give it a go because I don't know, I thought it would be fun and I've been excited to enjoy this pack. They have some nice new furniture. So here I'm kind of just trying to play around with the dimensions of the house and trying not to make it too much of a block, because that's definitely something I do quite a lot of the time by mistake, is just make my houses into one big square. So upstairs does count towards the tiles if you put a full wall around it. So what I discovered later in the video you'll see is that I couldn't put a wall all the way around the top floor. Originally I was going to make the top floor a bedroom, which I guess kind of takes away from the purpose of it being a small house. Everything needs to be on one floor, but you'll see later I kind of added like a garden terrace thing on top, which is something I like doing in my Sims houses, the ones that I get around to building. But yeah, this pack was definitely really challenging to play with. You'll probably see a bit further in when I start decorating the house that I made a ton of mistakes in things that I was using, and then I had to go back and change what I used or just like recreate the rooms differently and things like that, which was a challenge. I have been watching a bunch of other YouTubers do these kinds of videos where they are challenging themselves to do the micro house or the tiny house, or I think the other one is a small house. The small house is the one that you get the most tiles in. And then micro goes all the way down to 32 tiles, and you can't use more than that. Every bit of floor counts as a tile. One thing that I wanted to try and do here was like mess around with the terrain a bit. I never usually change the shape of the terrain. I just kind of keep it flat. But I thought for this house, seeing as it has to be quite small, I would maybe mess around with some of the terrain. One thing that I can't really do that I need your help with, because I never make Sims videos ever, I can never get the roof to align perfectly with the wall. So say that I wanted to have a roof on the top floor, but I also wanted to have a wall next to it. You'll see what I mean later when I do the top floor. But there's always a gap between it, and I don't know, it's either always like overlapping or there's always a gap, and I don't know how to fix that. Let me know if there is an easy way that I can change that, because that to me is kind of annoying. It makes the house look a bit weird, and yeah, I just didn't really know what to do about that. I'm not really that experienced in house building. I never really build a wall on the same floor that I'm building a roof as well. I know it's quite like a common thing, but I just haven't really got around to doing that yet, so I was a little bit confused. In here, this is where I wanted to have the... Originally, I just wanted it to be a living room, but I then later had to turn it into also what would be the bedroom, because I realized that you can't have two floors. So this whole thing that I made into a living room, I put in the sofa bed, and then I took out the sofa bed to replace it with a regular sofa, and then I put the sofa bed back in right at the end once I realized that my original plan was not going to work. I also wanted to use as many things from the new pack as I possibly could. You'll see the video jumping around quite a lot because this is my first build video and I am extremely slow at building. I will just mess around with the colours and the way things look for quite a while until I'm roughly happy with it, which, you know, I don't think I ever really am. I haven't got to the point yet where I can look at my build and be like, wow, that's exactly the way I want it. But I definitely have got better, I think, since I started playing The Sims. So here I was just messing around with the shelving units and like the decorations I could put on the shelves and stuff. One piece of custom, I don't use custom content in these builds usually. Sometimes I will download some to just play the game normally, but in these builds I will try not to use much custom content until I've at least done quite a few builds that have no custom content. That's just because I know it's a little bit more annoying for people to have to go off and download the custom content, and then, you know, if I uploaded this house, for instance, and there was custom content in it, then obviously you'd need to download it first for the house to work properly. So I thought since there was a bunch of new furniture, I would just try and build it regularly without any custom content in, but the one piece I do usually use is the shelf. I can't remember what the name of the shelf is, but the one that lets you place all the decorations and stuff on top of a certain area, and then you take away the shelf using like move objects or whatever. So yeah, that's the one I usually use, but here I'm not using it because I forgot to enable the custom content before I loaded up the game, and then I couldn't be bothered. So that's what the living room looks like, kind of all finished. I messed around with the shapes and sizes of the lamp and things like that, because I think the original lamp that comes with this pack is way too big. It's supposed to be a tiny living stuff, and that thing is not tiny. So I didn't really know what to do with that. I just sized it down and then kind of moved it over to the side with the ottoman, or like the footstool or whatever you want to call it, on the other side of the TV. I really like the new decoration that comes on top, or that you can like place down on top of anything, and I love the fact that you can place it down on top of the ottoman like it is. So in this part I was kind of just trying to figure out how I would do the kitchen properly. I ended up changing the colour of the cupboards about 5 times because there was a bunch of things wrong with it, and I couldn't match up the colours together. I don't actually know if there are matching cupboards for these cabinets that I'm using here, the white ones with the brown top to them. I just can't find the matching top cupboards for those, and I don't know if that's just me or if they don't exist. But yeah, I wanted to find those and it just didn't work. I really struggled with the kitchen. I was trying to do it for ages, and I don't know, I was just losing the plot basically. And I changed them to like black to brown to white, and I just could not figure out which colour I wanted. I also thought one point about putting the kitchen where you will see the bathroom being later on in the video. I had a whole problem with like whether I was going to move the door from one side to the other, and it was just, I don't know, it wasn't looking good. And I think finally I managed to get it looking okay. I wanted to have this brick wall that went like halfway across the living room and also halfway into the kitchen as well, which is the brick wall that you see there. I decided finally on the brown top of the cupboards to match the brown countertops. And this is where I started struggling to make the bathroom, and I still hadn't realised yet that I could not fit in a bedroom. So I changed where the door was, and I wasn't really happy with how the stairs looked. I kept moving them around. I was placing some things against the wall. I didn't know what to do, but I ended up just changing where the stairs were. You'll probably see in a minute. I'm just trying to currently figure out how I'm going to make the bathroom work with the windows, because honestly I'm one of those people when it comes to playing the Sims games, I'm not too fast if there is like a window looking right into the bathroom, because it's not real life. I know that's kind of a bad attitude to have because a lot of people don't like that, but I don't personally mind it. However, for the sake of the video, I ended up making like one window down the middle that wasn't looking into the toilet, it wasn't looking into the shower or anything like that. Sorry about the phone sounds, by the way. Also, when I was doing this, I decided to obviously turn the stairs the other way around so that they were going sideways up into the building instead of face on where there was no door. So I had to then kind of replace the side of the stairs with things like plants and bushes or whatever I could find to kind of cover up the staircase, because I didn't think it looked that good. And then onto the bathroom. This was actually probably one of the quickest rooms I made. I did one of those kind of walk-in shower things and just messed around with where I should put it in the bathroom. This turned out to be the best layout for the space. It's still quite a big bathroom, considering this is supposed to be a tiny home. I couldn't fit the laundry hamper in anywhere, which was to be expected, so there is no like laundry facilities in this house, which kind of annoys me because I love that pack. So yeah, I still don't think you can actually use the dressing gown on the back of the door. I had move objects on when I did this, so I think if you open the door, you're just going to see a dressing gown sitting there in the middle of the door frame, which isn't ideal. So I decided to move it next to the door instead, but that would be amazing if we could put them on the back of the door. If we can, then brilliant. I didn't actually play test this house before I finished it, which I maybe should have done, but honestly it was like 12 o'clock at night and I just wanted to go to sleep. I used some more of the furniture in the bathroom that came with the pack, so that was quite nice. And then I wanted to jazz up this area a little bit. I was trying to put a lamp around, but there literally was not a single square that I could put it. I also tried to find another rug that wouldn't conflict too much with the rug that we have in the now living room, but later living room / bedroom. So yeah, trying to find a rug for this space was kind of difficult. I still am not completely happy with the colour, but we also have a hanging like rail for coats and stuff on the side, which was the best place that I could put it. I also ended up changing these lamp choices about 5 or 6 times before I settled on the ones that you will see in a minute, but that's not the final design that I went with. I also didn't have a bookcase, so I wanted to incorporate the new books that come with the pack that actually can be used as a bookshelf now, which is amazing. I don't think it counts for just these books. I think it counts for most of the books in the pack, or like most of the books that come with The Sims anyway. You can now pretty much read straight from them, which is incredible. So no like bulky bookshelf if that's not what you want. You can just use the little book stacks that come with the game, and you can pretty much put them anywhere, so it's really nice. Those ones I ended up just putting on the countertop in the kitchen. And here I was trying to change around the furniture in the little dining area to kind of match the rest of the room a little bit. One thing I added that I really liked was those like wooden panels. I didn't quite know where I wanted to put it. I really wanted to put this one on as well, but I tried to put it in the bathroom and thought maybe it's a little bit too much wood going on. So this is where I encountered the struggle with the top floor of the house. I decided or realized that if you create a full-on, if you create a full fence that doesn't have a gap in it, that then counts as a second floor and it will add tiles onto your house. So I kind of cheated a little bit here, and I ended up making a hole in the fence just 1 square wide so that it wouldn't count and I could still use the rooftop terrace. So I did kind of use some cheating here, but I mean, if you want to just make a house that is 32 tiles, that's brilliant. Just bear in mind that you won't be able to add a second floor onto it or have a complete wall because that adds more tiles. So this is what I was talking about with the roof and the fence. I couldn't quite line them up properly, so there's that annoying gap where the white tiles are between the roof and the fence. If anyone knows how to properly make a wall and a roof line up, please let me know, because I struggle every time to make that happen and it just ends up looking really weird. So here is where I had to create the gap in the fence so that it didn't turn up as extra tiles. I ended up just putting a load of bushes there because I really wanted to have a nice rooftop terrace, but I also wanted to have some privacy in the terrace as well, so that you couldn't just look straight into it, and there was some like plants and stuff blocking the way, which made it a little bit more private. I also wanted to put on a barbecue up here and a little table and chairs area. I really like this rooftop terrace. I changed this around quite a lot, as you'll see in the rest of the video. Here is me also attempting to put a washing line, even though I had nowhere to put a laundry machine or a dryer or anything like that, so that was a waste of time, I realised, and then I took it out. I still have my plant pots in here. And then this was the final layout for the rooftop terrace. I kind of decided to go with the green and wooden theme, which I thought turned out pretty well. Although I think if I was to redo this house, I would make the colours, they don't really match. I've kind of got like a blue and white going on the inside, and then like a wooden green look upstairs, which I don't know, doesn't really match. So I'd probably change that. And here I think this is where I realised that I couldn't place a bedroom, so I was like, oh damn, we're gonna have to go back and turn the living room into what is also the bedroom, which gives us a nice chance to use the new sofa bed that comes with the game. Again, I didn't play test this, so I'm not sure if they can actually enter the bed like this. I need to find that out for the next build. I'm not sure if you can enter the bed if there is a wall next to it. I did kind of pull it out a little bit in hopes that it would work, but again, I didn't really have time to play test. This was the final result though. I was pretty happy with it. I didn't have enough windows on the lot, which was one thing I struggled with. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the build, and I will see you soon. Bye!